And welcome back, everybody, to part 5 of my DW Hobby Astro Junior build. Okay, and now I want to show you where we got with the fuselage since the last video. Got a little bit done on it. I got the second side installed here. I got the rear sides installed with their doubler. And the stringers up here, according to the kit, I believe they were a bunch of short pieces. I didn't like that. So I went into my stock and I got single pieces that would fit all the way from nose to tail. One piece, no joints, to induce a little weakness. I like these. I guess this is a longeron. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that's what we got going here. We got one continuous piece, nose to tail. I like that a lot better. I still have to do the bottom. Put the bottom longerons on there. And then today, we're going to be concentrating on getting the rest of these formers in here. There's 4 more that have to go from here back to where the stabilizer starts. As I said, we'll get that bottom stringer in. And then I want to get the servos mounted in, mocked up, and the push rods will be going in today. And then I want to get the motor mounted on the front so that I can start working on getting this pieces installed and rounded off. I want to see where it's going to go there. So I'll put that on, but I'll be taking it out before I do any of the sanding. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to continue on with these formers now and see what we can get done today. And I'll be right back. Okay, and welcome back. We've been moving right along here. Got a bunch done. Got the rest of the formers in. I got the bottom longerons in. All one piece from nose to tail. Got the servo tray set up. Got the rudder and elevator servo installed. Got the push rods in. They're in there, but they're not secured in yet with any glue or anything. I want to make sure everything is just right. I installed a termination block to give it some support. I used the laser cut push rod exits that were already cut in the kit. I'm hoping they're okay. I didn't glue anything in back here yet, just in case I need to move something around or tweak it a little bit to get the alignment right. But that's why I left these a little long, in case I want to make any adjustments down there. But yeah, looking pretty good. Now, there's something I really need to show you. I mentioned this, I believe, in the previous video, how they show all of these formers glued into one side. Now the builder is going to assume that those are 90 degrees to the fuselage side, but they are not. DW Hobby needs to basically remove this picture. There's so much wrong with it. They even have the other wing saddle doubler glued on here. That should be glued to the side, not to the formers. Back here again, these formers are never glued 90 degrees to one side. You will mess up the straightness of your fuselage in a heartbeat. Let me demonstrate here a little bit. Everything up here is a perfect 90 degrees, as it should be. But as you get back here, you'll notice that there's a bit of wobble that starts to happen. And it gets progressively more as you go back. If you had glued all these 90 degrees to one side, then you're going to have a serious issue when you're attaching the other side. You're going to end up with one flat side and one side curving around. These pieces are never glued perfectly 90 degrees to the side. So that's why I get the square portion done, everything that's supposed to be square done, and then I will install each former individually into the side so that these angles here are the same. That's what helps you get your nice, perfect straightness down the fuselage all the way to the end. Yeah, so DW needs to remove or give you some written directions on the angles that these should be at. So please be careful with that, especially if you're a newer builder. This is not going to work if you glue those in exactly as it's shown there without understanding the geometry. So, DW Hobby, you need to do something about that picture right there. And also, again, this wing saddle doubler should be glued to the side of the fuselage, not onto those formers. I'm really not sure why they drew it like that. And one more thing, the wing mounting points here where the bolts go down through the wing and into this block. DW, please do not pre-drill these holes. The holes should be drilled all at the same time when you mount the wing on. You should drill down through the wing and through the support piece here. That way your holes are lined up perfectly. See, now when I put the wing on to drill the holes through the wing, I need to pay extra attention and try to get everything, the holes that I'm drilling lined up with the holes that are already there. That's going to be a problem. A slight problem, not real big, but yeah, that's not a good idea. Those holes, those 4 holes, 2 in the wings and 2 here, should be drilled at one moment, at one motion, right down through. So they need to think about that, and it's just a matter of not laser cutting the holes. So please remove that from your template, your whatever, the file that cuts these things. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. It's going together perfectly. Again, so far I haven't really had to tweak anything. This fuselage, the laser cutting has been spectacular. Haven't had to tweak anything. So now I'm going to move on again. I think I'm going to get the motor out and get it test mounted on here so that I can see how these nose pieces are going to fit in there. And we will move right along. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back again. I know I said I was going to be working on getting the motor mounted up front, but as it turns out, I've got to reverse the shaft on the motor, and I just didn't feel like dealing with that right now. So I decided to go ahead and keep working on the fuselage here. The stringers, got all these top stringers on, got the rear decking and the tail post in. Now, I was going to cover the sheeting. I was going to put the sheeting on here. As you can see, it is sheeted. So I found the part, and it came across a little issue here. The length of it, if I put that at the back there, the length of it suggests, let me see here if I can see this. It suggests that I should be overlapping both of these formers. That's how they cut the length of this sheeting, to cover both of these formers. Problem is, we have some sheeting around the cockpit here that's got to go on, and so it's going to need a place to glue to. So I can't cover up both of those formers. Basically what I have to do is right about there and wrap it around, leaving this front former doubler available for the front sheeting. But of course, that then makes it too long on the back. So I'll have to cut that down, trim it up to get it to fit. You'll notice they cut kind of an arc into this piece. It looks like it's pretty good. It looks like the geometry for this sheeting looks pretty good. So I'll get some Windex out with the ammonia in it, spray this down, make it more pliable, and see about getting it glued on. Gonna work on that, and I shall be right back. Okay, and I'm back. I got the first half of the sheeting just sort of taking shape here. I sprayed it with some Windex, and then I taped it around to let it dry. And then I'll take the tape off and I'll glue it. So what we want is this sheeting to be roughly the correct shape. It just makes it easier when it's gluing. So I'll do that in 2 steps. First, I wet it and tape it and let it dry. Then I'll take the tape off and glue it. Just wanted to show you, this is a great place for a modification if you're a custom kit builder. This plane does not need this sheeting on the back. There's plenty of stringer action going on here to give you a nice ultra coat or monocoat or whatever heat shrink you use. It'll give it plenty of area to adhere to and look pretty good. And then if you were going to do that, if you put a notch, a chamfer in here, in other words, if you sanded each one of these pieces individually to get it lower than the stringers, then you'll have that really nice custom fabric covered look for your airplane. That would be really cool. I don't think I'm going to do that with this one, but man, it is tempting. It's tempting to leave this sheeting off for weight and then to sand these down so they don't show under the covering. When you cover it, you don't want these pieces to show. You only want the stringers to show. That would look really cool. And then you could add one more stringer on the side here to kind of make it puff out a bit more, to give it that fabric covering look, that Piper Cub look sort of to it. But I'm not going to do that, but just something I'm thinking about. You know, would be a cool little modification, upgrade to your kit. So I've been thinking about working on the hatch cover here, and right away I set the battery in there just because it was starting to worry me a little bit, and battery's too big. This is the base of the hatch, and I assume it needs to be flat on here. Well, the battery's just a little bit too tall no matter what way I put it in there. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is cutting out some of this center material here to give it room for the battery. But that's not a big deal. I'm not going to worry about that. I won't stress that at all. We'll get it in there. And you can see, I believe, that there's just a little bit of a gap there. But we'll get that taken care of. So yeah, that's where we're going to be leaving it for now. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all my subscribers. And thank you to the new subscribers this week. It's glad to have you. And also on my Facebook group, RC Taildraggin, we had a bunch of new subscribers this week. Thank you to all of them. And please check it out. I'll put a link to it, and you guys can come and see a lot more content in between the videos. You'll see things as they progress a little bit more. So until next time, take care, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.